So in this video today, we're going to talk about sector area and arc length of circles. Our objective is to find the sector area and the arc length of circles. So before I go into that, I'd like you guys to go ahead and do this warm-up, pause the video, and then come back to me when you're done. Okay, so in this drawing, it says, what is the measure of arc EP? So it's asking us what the measure of this arc is right here. So, and we're given the angle measure. So the formula for this is that the angle is equal to the outside arc minus the inside arc divided by 2, okay? So we're going to say 60 is equal to, we don't know what our outside arc is, so we're going to call it question mark, and that's EP, right? And that's minus our inside arc, which is 50, and then we're going to divide that by 2. So how do we get rid of the 2 in the denominator? We multiply both sides by that 2. So now these 2's are gone, and we're left with 120 is equal to question mark minus 50. And how do we get rid of a negative 50? We add 50, right? So we're going to add 50 to both sides, so our answer here is 170. Okay? Now, if you want to double check it, then you subtract 50 from 120, or from 170. That's 120, and you divide that by 2. That's 60. That's our angle. Okay. All right. You can either pause the video again here, or we'll just go on. Okay. So this next one is arc UV. So we're looking for arc UV. And on this problem, what we do is we do arc plus arc divided by 2 equals the angle. So we're going to do arc UV plus arc KW, because it's arc plus arc divided by 2 is equal to the angle, is equal to angle, in this case, UTV. Angle, let me see if I can fix that. Put the angle symbol in front of it, is equal to angle UTV, okay? So that means I'm again going to put question mark plus 55 divided by 2 is equal to 65. Here again, we're going to multiply both sides by 2 to get rid of the 2 that's in the denominator. So our 2's are gone from here, and we're left with question mark plus 55 is equal to 130, because that's what 2 times 65 is. And this time we're going to subtract 55 from both sides. So question mark is equal to, is that 75? 75 plus 55 is 130 divided by 2 is 65. Yep, so that's right. 75 right there. Okay, now we're going to go into the lesson. So go ahead and put that away. You can pause the video and then get out your notes for today's lesson. So the area of a sector is what we're going over today, and it's a fraction of the circle containing the sector. So to find the area of a sector whose central angle measure is m degrees, we're going to multiply the area of the circle by m over 360, because it's a fraction of the circle, right? It's just a part of the circle. So a sector of a circle is a region bounded by 2 radii. Notice we've got a radius here, and we got a radius here, right? And then it's intercepted arc, right? So that's what this is, okay? So we can measure this, remember, because it's a central angle, either by the angle or by the arc. And so what we're going to do here when we're trying to find the area of the sector, we're going to use the formula for the area of a circle. Now, the area of a circle is pi r squared, okay? And that's on your formula sheet. And then the reason why we multiply it by this fraction is because, again, we only have a fraction of the circle. So we're going to multiply that by m over 360, okay? And we're going to talk about writing. It says, helpful hint, write the degree symbol after the m in the formula to help you remember that degrees measures arc length, okay? Or actually the angle. Could measure either one, actually. So it says, give your answer in terms of pi and round it to the hundredth. So when it's in pi, we call this the exact answer, right? If it's in the hundredth, it's approximately, okay? So I want to bring that to your attention, because sometimes when you see it, it'll say, what's the exact measure? And if it's approximately, that's because 3.14 is an approximation of pi. Pi is an irrational number that goes on forever and it never stops, nor does it repeat, okay? So it says find sector HGJ. So it's asking us to find HGJ, this sector right here, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to multiply the area of the circle, which is pi, times our radius, which is 12 squared. And then we're going to multiply that by 131, which is our m. This is equal to our m right here. This is equal to our radius. Can y'all see that? So if you want to, up here, put r equals 12 and m equals 131, okay? And that's our formula that we're going to use over and over again, okay, when we're talking about sector area, okay? Now, I'm going to suggest to you guys that you do this, you do pi last, okay? So I'm going to actually put pi in a different color here because we're going to do it last because it tells us to give our answer in terms of pi and then round it to the nearest hundred. So we want to leave pi in our answer for the first one. And then for the second one, we're actually going to multiply by pi on the calculator, okay? So I don't know why I left that parenthesis over here like that. Was kind of weird. Okay. So I want you to do 12 squared on your calculator and just put a set of parentheses next and do 131 divided by 360, close your parentheses. Now, if you do that, it's going to actually compute it for you, okay? Don't even deal with your pi right now, okay? So when you did that, you got 52, and it says to the nearest hundred. So even for this one, this is 52.4, and then we're going to put our pi there. Okay, so that's an exact answer. When we do the approximate, we're going to put the approximate symbol, okay? Now we're going to multiply that by pi on our calculator, okay? So I need you guys to find pi in your calculator. Hold on just a second, I'll tell you exactly where it is. TI 83 or 84, it's over on the right-hand column. And it's underneath the clear button. So you're going to push second in that caret symbol, which is the symbol. So the pi symbol is the second. You're going to do second and then the caret symbol, okay? Now, if you're using the TI 30, which is the ones we have in class, it's on the left-hand column, fourth down. And you don't have to push second anything, okay? All right, so this time now I want you to multiply what you have in your calculator right now by pi. So do times and then pi. And then we're going to put that answer up here too. Now this is an approximate answer again because we are rounding because pi again is an irrational number, right? So we're going to round to 2 decimal places. So this is going to be 64.62. And both of these are going to be meters squared. Now, the reason why it's squared, guys, is because it's area. And anytime you have area, it's a two-dimensional. So we're always going to square whatever our measure is, meters squared. Now, when we start talking about arc length, that'll just be a length, right? This is actually squared because it's two-dimensional, and that's because we squared the radius, okay? So let's do another one. This one says if the shaded area of the sector is 5.45, what is the measure of the corresponding arc and central angle to the nearest degree? You know what? Actually, let's do this one down here first. Let's do this check it out, and then we'll come back to that next problem, okay? So let's do this check it out right here. Let's see if you guys can do this. This is, again, the formula you're going to use. So what is our radius? Our radius is equal to 1. What is our m? That's going to be 90, right? Okay, so we're going to use this formula. So our area is going to be equal to pi times radius is is 1, right? 1, whoop, I'm having trouble, 1 squared. And then we're going to do 90 over 360, okay? So go ahead and do that. Again, in your calculator, I want you to give me two measures. Don't multiply by pi. Remember, we're not going to multiply by pi yet. We're going to do that last. We're going to get an answer with pi in it, and then we're going to get an answer without pi in it. So this time, you got 0.25 pi, right? And again, that's meters squared. Okay, now I need you to listen to me. In most cases, you're never going to see an answer like that. So we need to change that into a fraction. So most of you know that 0.25 is 1/4, right? So this is pi over 4 meters squared. Okay. Now, if you have a TI-83, you can do Math 1 and it'll change that fraction into a decimal. Otherwise, you are going to have to figure out what the fraction is. Okay. And if you have answer choices, you can always put them in the calculator, right? And see which one it is. Okay. So then we're going to multiply 0.25 by pi. And when we do that, we get our approximate answer. So area is also equal to approximately, whoops, I don't know why I put an equal sign there. I'm just losing it, y'all. Approximately 0.79. 0.79. And again, this is meters squared. Okay. All right. Now we're going to go up here and we're going to answer this question. It says if the shaded area of the sector is, so that means our area is equal to 5.45 feet squared. Okay. And what is the measure of the corresponding arc? So now it's asking us what is the arc. Could be asking us what the angle is, right? Because that's a central angle. So it's actually asking us what's the measure of this or what's the measure of that, right? So what's our radius? There's our radius right there. So r is equal to 5. So this time we're going to do 5.45 because that's our area is equal to pi times 5 squared times the measure. We don't know what the measure is, right? Over 360. So what I want to do is simplify things to the best degree I can on the right so that I can then get rid of some things, okay? So I think everybody knows this is 25, right? So if I were to multiply 25 times the m over 360, I would get 5.45 equals 25 over 360 times our m times our pi. Okay, I'm doing that on purpose, okay? If m's on the top, we can always do that, okay? So now how are we going to get rid of that fraction? We're going to multiply by its reciprocal. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 360 over 25. So we're going to multiply this by 360 over 25, okay? So when we do that, that's going to get rid of our fraction, all of our fractional stuff on the right, okay? So what did I get? I got 1962 divided by 25. So I got 78.48, looks like. 78.48 over here is equal to m times pi. So now we still have to divide both sides by pi, right? Because there was no pi in our answer. So let's divide both sides by pi. And when we do that, we get the measure of the angle is equal to 25 degrees. Okay? Little tricky. I get it. But what you really want to do is whatever you get for the radius, put it over 360, and then multiply by the reciprocal of that. Notice it. We got the 25 on top and the bottom there, 360 on bottom on top. Okay? So that's why we could get rid of it over there and just be left with m pi. And then we got to divide everything by pi. Now, when pi is actually in the answer, we don't have to worry about pi, right? Okay, so now let's see if we can do this one. This one says if the shaded area of the sector is 25.6 pi. Okay, so now again, we got the area this time is equal to the 25.6 pi. Okay, and then again, our radius is what? Our radius is equal to 16. Okay, now go ahead and see if you guys can do this. Pause the video and then come back to me when you're done. Okay, so our area is 25.6 pi. That's equal to pi times 16 squared times m over 360, right? So this time, a little bit easier because we can divide both sides by pi. So our pi is going to cancel out on both sides. Boom, gone, right? Then this is going to be 256, right? Remember, we said we were going to put it over the 360 so we could leave our m by itself. Times m, and that's all going to be equal to 25.6, right? Now we're going to multiply by the reciprocal, okay? So we're going to multiply over here by 360 over 256, and multiply over here by 360 over 256. Now, once again, I would just put 360 over 256 in parentheses and multiply it times 25.6, okay? And if you do that, it makes it pretty easy. So when you do this, our measure, which is the only thing that's left over there, is 36 degrees. Okay? Little practice goes a long way with this stuff, y'all. Okay, it says a windshield wiper blade is 18 inches long. So we got a blade that's 18 inches long. To the nearest square inch, what area is covered by the blade as it rotates through an angle of 120 degrees? Okay, so if I'm going 120 degrees, we'll just estimate that that's 120. Okay, that's 122, degrees. Okay, so what is that going to be? That's going to be our M, right? This is our M, this is our R. So we're going to use our same old formula again, right? So our area is equal to pi times 18 squared times 122 over 360. So you can do that in your calculator, and this time you're actually going to multiply by pi, okay? Because it's asking us to the nearest square inch, what was it? So this is going to be, I got 344.9. Guys, do it in the calculator. If not, go ahead, do it now. Pause the video. Let's do it. So the area is going to be 345, and this is inches squared, okay? Because again, we're talking about area. And I don't think I did that on the previous one, so let me go back just a second, y'all. This is going to be, oh, I did. Never mind. I did. I just did. I wanted to double check. Okay. So check it out down here. It says to the nearest foot, what is the area watered as a sprinkler rotates through a semicircle? So that means the sprinkler's going through a semicircle. Isn't this going to be 180 degrees, y'all? Yep. If the diameter, the diameter is the whole length over there, right? So that's going to be 74 feet. So what's our radius going to be? Diameter is equal to 2 times the radius, right? So if the diameter is 74 and it's 2 times our radius, don't we have to divide both sides by 2? Tricky, tricky. Okay, so the radius is equal to, what is that? 37 feet? Yep. Okay. Now you can find the area. So go ahead, pause the video and find the area. So this one is going to be, again, pi times 37 squared times 180 over 360. Put all that in your calculator. And again, you're going to give it to me. Our area is equal to 2,150 feet squared. Okay. All right. These next ones are in the same way that the area of the sector is a fraction of the area of the circle. The length of an arc is the fraction of the circumference. So circumference is equal to 2 pi radius, 2 times pi radius. So here we're just, again, going to do our fraction, right? Because we're taking part of the circumference. That's all we're doing here. Okay. So we're going to do a couple of these together. So give the answer in terms of pi rounded to the nearest hundredth. Again, remember this is our exact, and that's our approximate. Okay, in case the question ever asked that. Okay, so here again we have, it says find the length of the arc. So the arc length is right here. So that's our M. M equals 134 degrees, right? And the radius is right here. And the radius equals 8. So we're going to do, the length is equal to 2 times pi times our radius times 134 over 360. Again, put that right in your calculator. And the length here is going to be 5.96 pi. Remember, again, we're going to leave our pi out till the end, right? Leave this out till the end, okay? And then that's our exact length with pi in it. And then our estimate of our length is squiggly equal sign there, is going to be, what did I get here? 18.71. And both of these are centimeters. Okay. All right. Let's see if you guys can do it here. Come back to me when you're done. So this time we're looking for this arc. So M equals 40. And this is our radius. So R equals 6. So the length is equal to 2 times pi times 6, which is our radius, times 40 over 360. Again, you can put that right in your calculator, remembering again that you're not going to multiply by pi yet, right? You're going to wait because we want an exact answer and then an approximate. So our length is going to be equal to 2 times 6, which is 12. 12 times 40 is 480 divided by 360. So where's my answer? Lost my track here, y'all. Check it out, 3a. Okay, so this one is 1.33 pi. And the approximate answer is going to be when we multiply by pi, and both of these are meters, okay? All right, we got a couple more that are like word problems. An arc with a measure of 62 degrees and then a radius of 2. So here again, this is just not a drawing, right? So we're going to do the length equals 2 times pi times our radius times 62 over 360. Again, put all that in your calculator. And remember, once again, you're not doing pi yet, okay? So our length is going to be equal to, because we're going to give both the answer in terms of pi and rounded. Okay, so this one is 0.69 pi, and then our approximate answer is going to be 2.16. Let me make that a little clearer. 2.16. And both of these, again, are meters. All right, let's see if you guys can do the check it out and come back to me when you're done. So here again, m equals 225. The radius is equal to 4. So we're going to do the length is equal to 2 times, I'm going to make this a different color right now, pi times our 4 times 225 divided by 360. Put that in the calculator just like that. Only omit the pi. So the length is equal to 5 pi. And then the approximate length when we multiply 5 by pi is 15.71. And both of these are centimeters, right? Okay, so go ahead and try these and come back to me when you're done. Okay, so this first one says find the exact area. So again, m is equal to 135 and r is equal to 8. Our formula area is equal to pi times the radius, which is 8 squared, times 135 over 360. So this one, and it says exact area. You see that this time? So we don't have to do both. So this one is just going to be, we're going to leave our pi out, right? We're going to leave this out to the end. So our answer is going to have pi in it. So 64 times 135 divided by 360. So this is going to be 24 pi. And again, this is centimeters squared because it's the area, okay? The other one says find the approximate arc length, okay? So, and it says approximate. So that, what does that mean when it says approximate? It means we're going to actually multiply by the pi, okay? So go ahead and do this one. Come back to me when you're done. So here again, we got m equals 120 and r equals 9. So this is a length, and so that's going to be 2 times, I'm actually going to just do our radius here, times our pi, and then multiply 120 over 360. This time you are going to multiply by that pi, right? Okay, because it says approximate. So when you do this one, you get that the length is equal to 18.85 meters.